I mean, since they're listening to this conversation right now, not necessarily who I think it is, but
Yeah, they're listening. That's for sure. You're fucking
yeah,
you're talking to them.
I know, right?
Yeah, I don't think it's Inception. It's not multiple leaps. Who else do you know? Because here's the thing. Who else do you know that has multiple accounts, therefore multiple phones, obsessed with Clubhouse, that likes to troll, and that gets off on this sort of thing?
I mean, they don't have to have multiple phones. They can have somebody
Yeah,
in the household that has a phone and they're using
That's unreal. That's unrealistic. Like
You don't
that's
think they're
possible.
using
That's
other
possible,
person's
but that's not likely. Like that's not. Like, but because here's the thing, Christine, that person would have had to have done something enough to provoke that person to do something that they didn't normally do, and she doesn't do anything to anybody except for be very caring, considerate, and like she's not done anything to provoke it.
Yeah, I agree. But this person has a vendetta against her because
it doesn't matter. It's not a vendetta. No, it is just a flavor of the month because this person's bored. And
what do you say, Christina? Tell me what to tell him.
Be a certain, quote unquote, let's just say type of person, like claiming she's not actually Australian, and also never it's also, but here's the ridiculous thing. I know, let's just say I know.
They kicked me from the room, Christina. They apparently couldn't take me anymore. They were going nuts.
And the reality and the reality of it is that they still had like a lot more soldiers, at least initially, right? Their initial numbers were about 51,000 compared to 30,000. It's just that more Jews eventually joined the bunch, right? So more Israelis.
No, but they're not in direct. But they're not in direct conflict. 3 of these countries.
You know what? You got a lot of excuses for war. Like this is war. This is not.
But hold on real quick. So then Ukraine's fighting Russia right now, right? But America's helping. We don't have any soldiers there, but we're giving them all the weapons. So are we in their war, or are we just helping?
Yeah, they just sent actual soldiers. They sent actual soldiers. They were participating in the war. And then you're coming up with a lot of conjecture with no evidence.
I gave you a freaking hold on. I gave you a link where it specifically talks about how Jordan said with me.
Yeah, it's the thing that. Hold on a second. Who are these people?
You can't kick me. I'm invincible. I'm
fucking sir.
That's happening right now. I wouldn't be surprised if all this information that's being brought out now is because of certain indictments that are now being acted upon, which is very, very interesting. Now, the other thing that's very interesting, and this actually sums up what we're seeing, and Sabretooth Duke put this out. It says, and this is actually from Post.
He was Argentinian. That's where he made the connection. Maybe I'm getting this wrong. It's been a long time since I read the book.
Somebody wrote something in the chat. David, people hate Jews regardless of what they do. So, you know what I'm saying?
You know what he did that was phenomenal? In the Golan Heights, he old Assyrians plant a specific tree to camouflage the radar sites. It's just eucalyptus tree. It's not some.
It's a certain palm tree.
Yeah, palm tree. There you go. It's so specific that you could see it from planes. Like it looked so different than everything else around there.
They
And they just
bombed all
used
the
it.
trees.
Exactly. They started bombing all the trees.
Which was a mistake because it was too good.
Yeah, exactly. That led
That's
to
how he got caught. They did,
You know, another fuck up
linked
they
it
had?
back to him.
They had a similar fuck up.
Well, they couldn't really link it back to him. They shut down all kinds of the entire country, and they found him speaking into a shaver. The transmitter was in a shaver, but
No, it was Morse. It wasn't a transmitter.
They had a similar fuck up.
It was still transmitting. It just wasn't.
Yeah, but it wasn't speaking into it.
They had a fuck up. Remember when they killed that? They were gonna kill that guy who lives in Qatar now. Not, I mean, the other guy, the second in command. They sprayed like they were supposed to spray something in his ear that was supposed to poison him, and the Mossad guys got caught. In Jordan, remember that story? Well, anyways, the poison was they were supposed to spray something in his ear, and they did. And the Mossad guys got arrested in Jordan, and they said that either we hang these Israeli Mossad or you give us the antidote for the cure of this Hamas member. And they basically kind of had to give the cure back. So. It was a guy who was also lives in Qatar. There's two of them left. Hani is dead. The other guy. There's two. There was the what the fuck's this fool's name? Hold on. Look up the guy. Anyways, so there was some fuck ups in Mossad, but regardless of how they fuck up, they do them. Even CIA is probably like, holy fuck, man. They were surprised.
It's always mistakes, but when they kidnapped guys, they dropped the glasses. The children.
Oh, that was one of the most gangster operations ever.
But they made one major mistake. They dropped his glasses. His kid did it right away. They immediately said, Israelis have him. They didn't call Argentina because they didn't want it. They couldn't because he was Eichmann. But they did activate the German network, but they still managed to slip out of the country.
They drugged him. Yeah, they drugged him.
Yeah, they drugged them.
Yeah.
And basically,
Israel
Israel
commercial plane.
on a commercial plane, but it was weird because there was no flights that were actually coming to. There's no El Al flights that were going to Argentina. So what they did is there was like some festival or something going on in Argentina, some like governmental one or so. I think they were commemorating like Argentina's independence. I don't remember the exact occasion, but they basically were like, "Hey, Israel wants to come and I paid thanks to you guys and like show your support." So they ended up sending Israeli diplomats there on a commercial flight, and they basically dressed up as flight attendant or flight crew for the flight, but they still had to go in through Argentinian security through the airport. So they can't just drag this guy who was kidnapped because he can just yell, "I'm being kidnapped," and then get attention of the authorities. So they drugged him up ultimately. And they carried him through the security, and they're just like, "Yeah, our friend, he partied up a little bit too much, kind of blacked out. We just have to carry him on the plane."
And he woke up in Jerusalem.
He woke up in Jerusalem. They dragged him up to the plane. The gangs
I want to ask.
That was
He did.
Their Nazi hunting was incredible, actually. The 60s, some of that.
Cohen was pretty much all in Egypt until they started his cover, and they sent him to Argentina. Yeah. I thought it was only a few. It was only a little while he was in Argentina.
Guys, if Sinwar gets caught right now, right? Let's just he's probably dead, but let's say he's alive. Are they gonna give him death penalty? You think this time?
No.
No, I would
They
never.
should.
They would make him a
It's irrelevant. I don't think you will.
So okay, let's say Israelis catch him. Are they
I
gonna
don't
kill him?
think
Or are
they're
they
gonna
gonna jail
catch
him?
him. I don't think they catch him. I think they're gonna bomb him. But if they catch him, they'll jail him.
They're gonna catch him. I think he's gonna be dead on sight, but
I don't think they can catch him.
I think it's like
He's still there.
In a
He's still even in Gaza.
Well, the war rumor.
Nah, no one's gonna take him.
he signed his death certificate on October 7th.
No one's gonna take him. Egypt won't take him. They don't want that responsibility. Iran won't take him because he's gonna get
The
caught.
rumor is that he's dead, but the DNA test failed. He's not.
DNA failed. I thought.
Yeah, he's not dead. He's not dead.
Well,
The reason
I don't know if
they
he's
did
not
that Eichmann like that was because they realized that they lost his glasses, and they were on the clock, so they had to rush it. They had a better plan, but they couldn't wait.
Yeah. You know what was a really good assassination? You guys know the story of Herbert Sukas? I think it's Shukas or whatever. He was the hangman of Riga. He was the Nazi in Latvia, I think, or Estonia. He was responsible for killing 30,000 men, women, and children. He was called the hangman of Riga. You guys know about the story. So, anyways, they went to, I believe he was in Brazil, actually. So basically, one of the Mossad agents befriended him, and he spoke German, obviously, right? So he thought he was also, somebody who was post-war, used to be part of the war, German guy, and he ended up befriending him. He pretended being a businessman, right? That he was gonna go, he started befriending him, getting close with him. He was a very paranoid guy, but he started, trusting this Jewish Mossad guy or this German guy who was just there on some business trips, and he was like friends with him for like 6 months. One of the trips, they went on a hunting trip together, and they had to go take a leak. And then the Mossad agent realized, oh fuck, he sees my uncircumcised dick. Like, this might blow my cover actually right now. So he had to it was kind of weird because he had to kind of take a piss. Like, they were out, I think it was on a lake or something. And so he had to kind of like turn around and so he wouldn't see his dick. Anyways, aside from the point. When he did gain his trust, he's like, okay, look, I'm going to bring you into business. I'm going to introduce you to some of my investors and my business partners. But the thing is, he didn't want to do it in Brazil. He had to do it in Uruguay because Brazil had the death penalty or something if they were caught. So he convinced them to fly out to Uruguay to go meet in this house out, like in this isolated place for this business meeting, quote unquote. And originally they were going to capture him, kind of do like an argument thing. But this guy was big. And so when they ambushed him in the house, he was putting up such a fight that they're just like, okay, we think this guy's just too much. So they ended up putting 2 bullets on the back of his head. But what happened was, this is the part that puts chills up my spine. So they put him into a trunk, and then they just left a note there, right? And the note went like something like this. It says, due to the severity and the gravity of the crimes of Herbert Jukis and him being personally responsible for the death of 30,000 men, women, and children, and given the sheer inhumanity in the way that he carried his crimes, we have sentenced Herbert Jukis to death by execution. He was executed on May 23rd, 1963, by those who will never forget. And that's how they just leave the note. They don't say it's the Mossad or Israel. They just say, signed by those who will never forget. And they just left it. And the Mossad never even admitted to it until like 30, 40 years later, that they were the ones behind that operation. Nobody knew who killed him. They're like, who is this? Some Jews killed him? Like, they thought it was some rogue Jews or something. But it turned out it was a Mossad operation.
You know what's interesting? The CIA probably, when they realized what happened with the pagers, they were like, man, we're happy these guys are on our side. Because even CIA, they don't do operations like that. They don't do messy shit. They do more like, a little more calculated, a little more, because I don't think CIA does these kind of, like, I don't think CIA is into that shit. Like, they do more calculated attacks. Mossad is a dirty one. They're the ones who, like, do some savage shit like this. You'd think the Arabs will learn by now, like, although Mossad did fuck up on October 7th, we know that. We don't know the story, it's probably going to come out later. But if they fucked up then, they're definitely making up for it now, man. And what's crazy about Hezbollah is they were known in the Arab world, like, oh, they're the only ones who defeated Israelis. Now, this is the Arabs' perspective, not our perspective, but they were known as the only guys who defeated the Israelis, right? And now all that reputation went down the toilet because they just got their balls blown off and they got their shits bombed, and so Hezbollah fucked his reputation up completely. Like, he's now a laughing stock of the Arab world. So I don't know if Israel's going to actually invade on foot, the boots on the ground. If they do, though, I think Israel's prepared this time. They learned all from his mistakes in 2006, and I think if they're going to go, I think Hezbollah's pretty much smoked. And if the Christians will uprise against Hezbollah, they're going to be better in Lebanon.
Yeah, the Mossad was crazy. Their Nazi hunting was actually really interesting stuff. They hunted a lot of some Nazis. There was a guy, man, what was his name? He was in Vienna, I think he was. He was somewhere stationed in Europe. I don't know.
They didn't catch enough of them, unfortunately. They didn't catch many of them. There's one in Syria that
I know,
Syrians
there's a
were
lot of them.
protecting.
Like Mengele, bro. They never found Mengele. They were after
Did you hear
Mengele
this
for like
conspiracy?
months.
Did you hear this conspiracy that Hitler ran away to Argentina and shit like that?
Yeah. Well, Stalin was, up until his death, never believed Hitler died. He had even his Russian secret police, the NKVD or the KGB, as you'd call it, going all over the world looking for Hitler. The Israelis weren't the only ones that were looking for him.
Well, the Russians, they said they had this Hitler's skull, right? And when they did
Yeah,
an
they found a
experiment,
skull or something, but
but they're saying but they're saying that skull was actually a woman. It wasn't even a male.
I don't know. I don't know about that one, but I know
So they're saying
Stein
Hitler's
never.
body was, according to a lot of people, regardless, he's dead now. But either he died of overdose or he shot himself or whatever the case is.
I toured the area where the exit to the bunker was in 1989. They had just finished clearing the area. Right
The most I would have found, there's no way that he would have hiding in Argentina there are a lot of Nazis living in Argentina and Chile and all these areas. There's a lot of them escaped. There's no way Hitler would have been.
Yeah, in Bolivia, a friend of mine's last name is Kemp, K-E-F-M-P. Tell me that's not German.
Oh, dude, for sure. I mean, so I heard, you guys see this? There was this, documentary about basically in Chile, they have communities of just Nazi kids of Nazis who just grow up in an area where only Germans live there, specifically Germans.
Sounds like the boys from Brazil.
Well, yeah, a lot of.
You ever see that movie? That was the great movie.
Wait, are you talking in Argentina?
No, in Chile.
Chile.
Oh, in Chile. Oh, yeah, of course. There's entire German, settlement. There's 500,000, Germans. And not just Chile, South America. So they have a pretty significant number.
There's also 500,000 Palestinians in Chile. There are 500 million of Chile.
Five?
Yeah. Look this up. How many Palestinians?
Well, the Palestinians and the Germans are kindred brothers. So what are you talking about?
But some say they're mostly Christian Palestinians, but I don't know. To me, I don't give a fuck.
No, they're.
So yeah, 500,000 of them live in Chile, if not more. Look this up.
Where are all the Christian Palestinians from Bethlehem moving to? Because that place used to have a huge presence. Now it's very but it had a much bigger presence than it did. Now it's nothing. It's
Brazil has more Lebanese than Lebanon, population wise.
Really?
Literally, but except there are more Christians in Brazil, Christian Lebanese than in Lebanon. Yeah, you still with us? Yeah. Yeah. She's my cousin, so I just call her Yaya.
Oh, actually, you guys are.
Yeah, I'm watching a documentary right now on Odessa Jews.
And what?
On Odessa's Jews.
Which one of the
Grandfather's siblings. My grandfather was from Odessa, and the other was from
Really?
Dobrovich.
And yes, Dale and I are really cousins.
Oh, I didn't know. I think you guys were just kind of shooting the shit. Do you know Misha Yablonchik? You ever heard of Yablonchik before?
Was there a movie about him, right? In Ukraine, yeah, about the Ukrainian.
Well, yeah. Once upon a time in Odessa, yeah. He was a Jewish gangster in Odessa.
I didn't see the movie because I was very
It was a
Ashkenazi.
theory. It was even a movie. It was a series.
Yeah, serious when it's in Russian. I know it was a very Ashkenazi kind of movie. The jokes were very Ashkenazi kind of jokes.
Yeah,
That's
I
why
mean,
it wasn't catchy.
So, but it's really cool. It's a true story. It's a true story about Misha Yablonchik, and they call him Yablonchik.
I watched this series. It's called something with Skripka. What's it called?
No, другое.
No, I'm talking about Once Upon a Time in Odessa.
Yeah. This is the series, but it's new one. It's in 2020, something like that.
2020.
Let me
No,
find.
I'm talking 2015. This one came out. Oh, not 2016. Maybe 2014, 2015. It came out. I think.
Was there a joke there? It was probably solid.
How are you? You're so gorgeous for a Latina.
No, there was another one.
I didn't get that joke.
Are you Latina?
I don't know why that's
For a
I didn't find it
Latina?
funny, but I guess my Ashkenazi friends found it hilarious. What is that exactly?
Bro, there was even more funny about it. Okay, so how much, right? He's like, how much? How much money, kind of thing, right? And they're just like, oh, they're like, we don't have a lot of money. He's like, and then they were just like, Misha, aren't you kind of embarrassed, profiting off the revolution? No. They're like, well, we don't have a lot of money. And then he gets up and he starts leaving, and Mayorchik, his right-hand guy, he says like this, he's like, если дома нету денег, привяжите руки веник. Привяжите и метите. Но метете, приходите.
I just sent the link to the movie. in Kiev.
Oh, so you speak Ukrainian?
Yeah.
Oh, прикольно.
But yeah, no, it's a good series.
Я розумію, розумію українську, розумію польську.
What Jewish life was like in Odessa.
This is the one I'm watching. I finished up with Odessa.
Sure.
Oh, let's see. Odessa.
Yeah. It's on Netflix right now.
In
By the way,
New York.
Marisa, I was gonna buy tickets for Akian Elzi, right? They're coming to New York. I don't know if I'm sure you know who that is.
What?
Akian Elzi.
Oh, wow. Yeah, sure. Of course.
You know how much a ticket is?
No.
$300. That's the cheapest one.
US.
Madison Square Garden. I'm like, вы что, вообще ебанулись? I'm like, what the
Listen,
fuck is... У меня аж голова болит от такого.
I bought tickets for Boombox, if you know this, also this musician, Ukrainian one. And back then I used to keep Shabbat, so I bought the tickets, they were like Sunday. And then the war broke, and he canceled the show. He canceled the tour to Canada, and I was like, okay, later, I guess. And then he announced again, and I was still I was keeping Shabbat, and it was like Friday evening, something like that. And I tried to sell it to someone, but nobody wanted to go. And that's it. I just donated money.
People
But I never went. I went to
So you couldn't break
Monatic.
Shabbat for your favorite artist. I respect that.
Yeah, but I went for Monatic show. You know, Monatic is his new one. Like Yarnedzi, it's Ukrainian.
Christina Luna, but she sings in Russian. You know who that is? Christina Luna.
Ukrainian?
She's Ukrainian, but she sings in Russian. Christina Luna. She's really good. I can't say I like. Actually, you know Chocho what? She's another Ukrainian. So I was telling her, so like, I started thinking of Ukrainian because I started to learn Polish. So I feel like if you use Polish and Russian, you kind of learn Ukrainian.
I'll tell you, I tried to read Polish. I don't get anything, but when I'm kind of like trying to read it like out loud, I can guess what it means, but it's not.
Because the script is Latin, so it's not Cyrillic.
Yeah, but they have a lot of sounds like sh, like they put it everywhere in the words. So it's kind of like when you want to say something in Ukrainian, but you put like additional letters there.
But is your Ukrainian fluent?
Yeah.
Okay, so you know how they have these words? They have these words, right? Like, so, okay, I'm sure you know this also, Nathan. So, you know the word urod, what that means?
It's in Russian.
Yeah, urod.
Urod means ugly, though.
Yeah, but you know what that means in Polish?
Mm.
No.
It means gorgeous. Uroda in
Really?
Polish means gorgeous. Uroda. Yeah. So in Polish, you say, to uroda, she's gonna be like, oi, dziękuję, dziękuję.
For he is
Or when you say dobry dzień, they say dzień dobry. They vice versa.
Dzień dobry, something like that. They put,
Dzień dobry.
yeah, they put z there.
Like backwards Rush. Or for example, you know how we say like ovochi, right? Ovochi is vegetables. In Polish, ovochi is fruits.
Are you
Like
serious?
complete opposite. Yeah, I don't know why.
I didn't know they were so
And
backwards.
pazabric actually means remember in Polish. It's the opposite.
Is it the language, is it in Polish when you say yes, it means no, when you say no, it means yes?
That, yeah.
No, it's in Georgian, it's in Georgian. Mama, it means dad, Papa, it means like grandpa or something like that.
Really?
Yeah.
Грузины were also like that.
This Saturday evening, I was at my friend's house, and they had Georgian people there, and we were talking like languages, and people were asking, how do you say this in Hebrew? How do you say that in Ukrainian? And then the Georgian came along, and I was like, what? You call your father mama?
No, they have. Well, you know how we say like.
Слушай, братан, слушай, дорогая моя, слушай, дорогой.
How we say like up. We say вверх, right?
Вверх.
They say gora, like implies that mountain is up. That's how they say up. They say gora.
Yeah, Гора.
In Polish, yeah, gora means up.
Гора.
Look up.
Горе means like a tragedy.
Goria, but gora means mountain.
Yeah.
because she grew up in this area with borders Belarus. So in school, they taught them Russian, but she hated speaking it because her parents always told her that they hated Russians because the Russians occupied them. So she was speaking Polish, and I'm like, I speak 5 languages, so I like to pick up languages. So I was learning it, and I realized once I started picking up a lot of Polish, and I was watching like Ukrainian people speak, I was like, wait a minute. I pretty much started picking up a lot of Ukrainian.
Yeah, it's similar. It's very similar. Let's say when my mom was there because of the war, when she escaped Ukraine, so I tried shopping for her online, like for pets, all those pet stores. Almost everything is similar, but when I called there, it's not. I couldn't understand the person, and when you're trying to say something in Ukrainian, they're not getting it like fluently. Some people might get it.
So I think what it is, at least in my view, if you grew up like in Lviv or Lvov,
There's dialect. There's dialect all those areas, yeah.
so there's a lot of more Polish influence. So if you watch a lot of Polish TV, you know,
My great grandfather, I think, yeah, he was born in Drohobych. Back then it was Poland. Now it's like Lviv area,
West Ukraine, yeah.
like the city next to Lviv.
that was Poland back then. Before
Yeah.
the
Yeah,
Russians.
before the war, before Stalin took the piece.
Yeah, my great grandfather, he was born like 1907 or 1990.
Yeah, that was Poland at that time.
Yeah.
Actually, I don't even think it was called Poland at that time. In 1907, I think in 1907 it was an Austro-Hungarian Empire. It was Austro-Hungary at that time.
No, but I think they feel like I think Ukrainian is much more similar to Russian. Honestly, people get mad at me. I think it's a dialect of Russian.
No,
Like Ukrainian?
not. Listen, I used to live with a person who was born in Moscow, and there are certain words when you ask them to pronounce, they cannot pronounce this. It's the similar as for the Israeli person to say letter ya or y. They don't have this sound in their language. So hold
By the
on.
way, you know what I realized? There's a difference between Ashkenazis and Sephardics when it comes to the dialect. So, like Ashkenazi will say sadik, they'll say sadik, sa. They don't really have a sa sound. It's more of a sa.
Well, that makes sense because they're from different regions for 1,000.
Yeah.
I'm talking about, but Russians
don't pronounce
and
the
Poles
sa
are like
the same way.
neighbors. These are neighboring
So the
countries.
word in Ukrainian is solnuch. I don't know why Russians cannot pronounce that. Not solnuch, sonячник. Sonячnik, the part with a ch and n, like it's hard for them to pronounce that. Sonячnik.
They have also sometimes like Petersburg Russians. For example, like I was told this, like I'm like, "Aha, no, голова болит." You understand that part, right?
Yeah.
They can't say the or I would tell them like налей себе кофе. They can't say coffee. They say coffee. They can't use their like vocal налей себе кофе.
I know, they can't even say the W.
They can't. You know.
When the war started in 2022, Ukrainians used to laugh because they were like checkpoints with the words. So they used to ask all those who invaded Ukraine, say паляниця. They cannot say that. Say залізниця. They cannot say that. So there's a couple of words that you can actually try. Like Russians, they cannot say that.
Yeah, well. Yeah, also there's a lot of words that kind of imply, like when you say по-украински, знаешь, ты говоришь, что зимно, да? Well, it's zimno, like it's cold.
Zimno, not zimno, zimno.
Zimno. See, I'm even having like. So Russians say холодно, and in Serbian it's also hladno. So there's like some West Slavic, East Slavic shit going on with these but what's interesting, Russian is the hardest for other Slavs to understand, it seems. Like all Slavs to an extent can speak with each other, but the Russian seems to be uniquely different. Like Czechs can understand to some extent like other, like Poles and Serbs and Croatians, but Russian is some other shit.
I think Russian I don't know. I think it sounds cleaner than all the other Slavic languages. my opinion.
Because you're used to speaking Russian. That's
I
why.
guess so, but it just sounds more like proper. I don't know. I could be a bias. Yeah, I mean, you're right. It could be a bias.
It's natural to you because
I do think phonetically speaking, it just sounds way better.
I heard that Russian is the most difficult language to learn, but because I was born
One
in
of them, yeah. I mean, prepositions are horrible. Like I don't, like it's retarded. So I didn't
it's
even
top
realize
five.
it until.
I think it's maybe the top. I don't think it's the. I think the hardest probably Mandarin. It's probably the hardest to learn.
No, our grammar is weird. Like our grammar, it's not that it's weird. It's just that there's so many different ways of saying a noun and like different situations and stuff. I have this Instagram channel that I follow, learning Russian stuff. It's like 12 different ways of saying to use the possessive my, моё, моя, мой, like yeah, like I don't know. It was just weird. It was like there's like 12 different ways of saying.
Not only that, when you have word like, for example, you say свет or цвет, right, which is color
Свет, yeah.
or light, or you say tongue.
Замок, замок.
No, but the meaning, tongue, язык can mean language and tongue, which is the same word, two different meanings, right?
Same with замок and замок. Замок, castle, замок, lock.
But like, how do you say water properly? Вода, воду,
Вода.
Not
воду,
воду, воду.
водичку.
No, вода. Вода
Вода.
is like just isn't, I guess, in Ukrainian it's
Дай мне воду. You don't say дай мне вода, you say дай мне воду.
No, по-украински it's going to be different.
Вода.
Ukrainian is, how do you say
Yeah,
give me
вода, but
water?
then when you're saying give me water, you'd say дай мне воду.
Дай мені воду.
Дай мені.
Воду, yeah.
Склонения другие.
Не такі, як всі.
Yo, Ari, what was your first language? Russian?
No, Farsi.
Farsi?
Dude, English, Russian is my third language, actually, or fourth.
What?
Yeah, it's my fourth language, yeah.
So how many languages do you know?
So, Farsi, because Bukharians, we originate from Iran. So,
I know. And
so
but also
Farsi.
Bukhara was back, right?
Uzbekistan, yeah, but we're not Uzbeks. Uzbeks are like, Mongols, from Iran. We just ended up there for many other reasons. But so Uzbek, speak that as well. What else I speak? Russian and English. Yeah, and I know some some Arabic because it overlaps with Farsi, so I can get around with Arabic. My Spanish is okay. My Ukrainian's okay. My Polish is okay. So, but fluently, I would say I speak 4 languages fluently.
Bro, let me hear you say Farsi. Let me hear you speak Farsi.
Shimikunam, Chigufti, Chigoyam Tuba.
Okay, at home, would you speak Farsi or Russian?
Just now I spoke to you in Farsi.
I know, but at home, what do you speak?
Oh, at
Farsi or
home.
Russian?
Oh, it depends with who. Like, let's say with my let's say uncles, I speak Farsi.
Andale!
My parents, I speak Russian. My cousins, some co-workers I may speak with, Uzbek, English. I have Turkish co-workers, which is similar to Uzbek. So,
Bro, that's cool.
yeah, I mean, I try to watch a lot of media to keep up the languages, not to forget them, But my tongue that I grew up speaking, actually, yeah, that was Farsi. 'Cause that's our language as Jews from that part of the world. My grandmother's from Iraq, so she was speaking Arabic to me, but that was a long time ago.
Oh, wow.
So how are you related to Yael then?
Yeah, so our grandmother, so she's Iraqi, has an Iraqi grandmother, so it's like our dads are cousins, if that makes sense.
Oh, so you're second cousins.
Yeah, but we're still family,
Yeah, that's family, of course. I have my second cousins too.
Yeah, but she lives in Canada. I live in New Jersey, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
So we have sometimes different views on shit. We sometimes argue, but that's cousin,
I know. But she told me she's from Iraq and Iran. Like her family is more Iraqi or Iranian.
So a lot of our family, the when the Farhud massacre was happening, a lot of the Iraqi Jews went to Iran. So that's what happened. So a lot of Iraqi Jews went to Iran.
Right, because she calls herself Mizrahi, she doesn't call herself Bukhari.
No, because here's the thing. I'm Buhari from the other side. So my grandmother is not Buhari. Right? So my other side is Buhari. But what happened was, well, Buharis are also Mizrahi, by the way.
Well, technically, yeah, but Bukhari has its own.
No, Buharians are considered Sephardi. I'm sorry, Mizrahi, because what happened was, long story short, when a lot of the Buharis started converting to Islam, and this rabbi, who was a Moroccan rabbi, he actually came from Morocco to what is now Uzbekistan, and he revived our community, in Sephardi, like our menheg was Sephardic. But our origins, like the Iraqi Jews, Iranian Jews, they're all in the category of Mizrahi. So, geographically speaking, culturally, we're Mizrahi. Like if you look at Wikipedia on Bukhari Jews, it says Mizrahi Jews. It doesn't say Sephardic Jews.
Yeah.
Sephardic implies you're from Spain or from Portugal exclusively.
Interesting. Nathan, what language do you speak at home?
Russian.
Oh, okay. But do you read and write in Russian?
I can read, yeah. Write, I don't really need to write, but I can if I really need to.
But I mean, like, messaging, you're not gonna message in Russian and you're not gonna read the message.
I message
Say it again,
transliteration. Sorry, no, I said I message more in transliteration, so I'll message in transliteration, so I'll use English letters to spell out Russian.
Oh my god, it's disgusting. I hate this.
Well, I do that, you know. But I can read Russian, it's fine.
Yo, you know the Ukrainian alphabet has that I thing. What the fuck is that I thing? It looks like an I. Is that an E?
It's like an I.
How's it pronounced?
E, and there's also another letter, Y.
And there's no Tvyord Znak, right, in Ukrainian?
There's what?
Tvyord Znak.
Tvyord is in Libya.
No, there is.
There's
There's
an
a Tvyord
Znak,
Znak.
but no Tvyorde, right, I think, or vice versa.
No, there is. I'm gonna send it right now in the comments. Hold on, where is the Ukrainian? So this is E. This is Y. This is U.
Uh-huh.
And this is мягкий знак.
That's Ikratkaya. We call this Ikratkaya, right? Well, in Russian, it's Ikratkaya.
I never learned Ikratka. It's E.
Okay,
Russian.
Okay. So there's
So
two
Russian
in Russian.
E?
There's two E's. There's E with that
So
little
Russian
stick on
E
top.
is
Yeah, that's the
Ukrainian
Russian E. Yeah.
and Ukrainian E.
Okay. But the kratka, it makes the E. For example, if I say novy, it's the E with a little stick on top. The kratka.
Novy, let's say Novy. In Russian, it sounds
like that,
Novy.
yes. So that last
But in
letter we call it.
Ukrainian, Novy.
Okay. But that last letter
It's
we have.
Ukrainian. In Russian here.
Do you have the yo?
In Ukrainian,
Like the E with the
no, in
two dots on
Ukrainian
top.
you put мягкий знак O.
Okay. Nah, Ukrainians. So you know, like in Serbian, it's the same alphabet, except they don't have the U, like the ULA. They don't have the U.
So let's say people with name Ura. How do you call them?
I'm not sure how Serbians would write that. They maybe use the U instead. I don't know. I'm not sure how the Serbians would.
Yo, Ari, how old are you, by the way?
How old am I? 36.
Only 36.
What about you?
I just turned 30, bro. My birthday just passed.
Oh, Mazel Tov.
Thank you, bro.
I died and say, I picked up the Hezbollah army for the one people for killing innocent blacks for who's
It's good, bro. We're gonna age them.
She's alright.
I do more stupid shit now.
The
I mean, I said when I was looking, I actually
Yeah.
tweeted about
And like
this.
that.
I'm like, yo, I thought when I told her to stop doing it,
Are you surprised how young you feel at 36?
yeah, I thought I'm gonna fucking feel like an old man.
Yeah, don't I feel fucking.
Like he's a
But
master.
now, yeah, thank God.
Um,
What?
I mean, he's
Are you married?
a master politician.
No.
Just to, be sort of
I just
blunt
broke up
about
with my
it.
girl after
You know,
4
he
years.
spends his life
Oh, really?
She
as a
was
legislator.
here a Christian. She was here a Christian. Yeah.
Christian, yeah. I was dating a Italian Christian actually.
Italian Christian?
Italian.
Oh, Italian Christian. Yeah. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was not approving that, but you know.
I wanted to ask guys, why you're not dating like a Jewish girl?
I was dating Jewish at one point, but
Nah, Jewish girls are too much, man. Too much, bro.
yeah, this Christian
But
woman
I wanna marry a Jewish girl though.
They wanted to convert actually. They wanted to convert.
After October 7th, now for me, she has to be. I don't care if she's Chinese, if she's black. I don't care if she's, as long as she's Jewish. That's what matters, you know.
Yeah.
Well, what about converting? What did you say?
With me, I didn't want to force anything on her. So it's funny because
You're gonna accept converts?
Hmm?
You're gonna accept if you are like dating a girl and she wants to marry you and she wants to.
Yeah, look, I don't want her converting for the sake of marriage. I want her converting Judaism because she embraces Judaism. I wouldn't want her to just convert.
So
Just
let
marry
me
me.
tell you, for me, it's like.
In a way, she'll sort of resent it after the house.
Sorry?
I said, in a way, she will resent it afterwards, so I wouldn't want her doing it.
So for me, it's a no-no because I was married to a guy who first I thought he was Jewish, but then as it turned out, he was dating a Jewish girl. He used to live in Israel since he was 6 years old, and she told him that she's gonna marry Jewish only. She wants to have a huppah. So he did a giur in the army, and he never followed this. And most of kind of like in a religion, most of the people are not accepting converts from army because it's not very kind of like by the rule. So what happened when we got married, he found a Reformi rabbi because he knew that the, let's say, Chabad rabbi not going to accept him because he's going to tell that he's not Jewish. So for me, after that story, I'm kind of like, no, Jewish only. I don't want converts.
No, I didn't mind it at first, but it was more like she actually started. Funny enough, I started dating her. Woke up maybe like 5 months ago. It was a short little thing, but she started getting into like this whole like, cause she's a Christian too, right? She's like, oh, you're Jewish, your God controls the people, kind of thing. So I had a little bit of like this little. No. She's non-denominational. She rejected Catholicism. She hates the Catholic Church, yeah.
Well, she's Italian, you said?
Italian, yeah.
I'm surprised. Italians mostly are Catholic.
She grew up in a Catholic family, but she kind of came back to her faith, and she realized like Catholicism's like a little whacked out because of like the idolatry and the praying to Mary and the Pope and all the Catholic doctrine and stuff, right? But she now just recently, like in the last 2 years, she really came back closer to God, trying to have a relationship with God, and she was just really impressed about like my knowledge of the Bible and stuff like that, right? And then plus I was debating a lot of Muslims, and she would see me debate them, and anyway, she was just really like attracted and impressed with like a lot of my wisdom and knowledge that I had. And so and she never really dated a Jewish guy before. She never really met a Jewish guy. So it was good. I mean, we actually got along really well. We had a really good conversation. Intellectually speaking, we got along very well. But there was one time, funny story. I was hanging out at her house, and she starts getting not upset with me, but she just starts crying. And she's like crying for like 15 minutes, and she's like, something's wrong. And I'm just like, babe, I'm like, you alright? Like, what's going on? Like, she's like, no, I know. Like, it's not your fault. It's like, I was like, I want to be mad at you, but I can't be mad at you. I'm like, what? I don't understand what's going on. She's like, and after like 15 minutes, she's just like, I'm just so upset that you haven't accepted Jesus as your Lord and Savior. Like, how can I be with somebody? I know, right? She's like, how can I be with somebody knowing that they're going to hell? I'm like, read Romans 11. I hope you sleep at night.
Dating not Jewish, because at the end of the day, when you are ready to get married and to have kids, she's gonna go to her faith, like with her
I
family.
agree, and that's why we left
Are you
because
still
at the end of the
married?
day,
Marisa, are you still married to that guy?
No, I'm
Oh,
still.
okay,
thinking
well,
about
that's why she said only Jewish.
Okay.
Yeah, that's my kind of like.
No, I mean, he could have converted. No, I'm just saying, here's the thing about Jewish girls. I'm speaking, I don't know, maybe Jewish girls here are different. But I feel like there's, I think, 70% intermarriage when it comes to men in America. I don't know how it's in Canada, probably 70. Question is, what are Jewish girls doing that men don't want to marry them? So, I don't know.
I don't know. I came to Canada, I was married, but I'll tell you, I never dated a Jewish guy before I got married. I grew up in Ukraine. When I was in Israel, so I studied in a religious school, so like for girls only, so I never actually dated anyone in Israel. The only guy that I've been in Israel is my ex-husband. That's it, the only Israeli. But after that, I told myself, like, why did I always dated Ukrainians, like Christian.
Well, let's see whatever was around you, let's see what you did, you know?
Yeah, and also my father, he's not Jewish, he's Ukrainian, but he never went to church, like no крестики, как они называются. Like nothing of
Cross.
Yeah, his family wasn't religious. They accepted my mom fully. My grandmother was afraid that, they're Ukrainians, anti-Semitism, nothing, thankfully. And I went to Jewish school in Ukraine, like since grade 1. And my father was fully supporting that. But it's very hard to find another religion person, like from other religion, to accept it fully. Because I told myself, I don't care who I'm gonna marry next and with whom I'm gonna have kids. My kid's gonna go to Jewish school, and I'm not discussing this. That's it. That's the point. Like my kid's not gonna go to public school.
Okay, after October 7th, to me, I think a lot of Jews had this wake up. I just feel like, no matter what, no girl who's not Jewish is gonna understand. Maybe exceptionally some, but because only Jews can understand our pain. Like what the fuck?
Of course, always the exile, always kind of like we're like the dirty or whatever nation. I don't want my kids to go through that. I want my kids to be proud of their Judaism and to know, because anyway, doesn't matter who I'm gonna have kids with, even if we're Muslim, my kid's gonna be Jewish.
My cousins are marrying like completely out. Like before I had, I was dating like Latin, I was dating Arabic, Black, Persian. My cousin just married a Latina. My cousin's married a Latina, but that's on them. But to me, because my cousins are not very religious, but I'm not religious either. But I can't imagine my kid going to church. I feel like that would mess me up. And I feel like if the woman loves the man, she'll have to do what he wants to do. So to avoid that argument, the only way when I see this interfaith couples, the only way it works, if one person is not as religious as the other, or they're both not religious. But if you're both let's say if you marry a Christian girl and Christianity is important to her, to you, it's never going to work. Because you're always going to argue one way or another about
what I'm telling you, it's not going to, like, same as Nedan said with his ex-girlfriend. You can't tell until you're going to have a family and kid. The person, they're not hiding it. It's just like, they're not religious, they're not going to the church, but when it comes to a wedding and to having kids, this is when it's gonna wake up. When her parents gonna tell, oh, you're not gonna come over for Christmas? Or you're not gonna have a Christmas tree? So, this is the moments when you're kind of like, oh, shit. Yeah, I cannot go back. Like, I already married this person and I'm having kids with this person. That's it.
Yeah, it's inevitable. You're gonna deal with these problems.
This is why you need to date Jewish girls. But I heard about the marrying thing, that people in US and Canada not very into marrying, kind of like dating and having kids together but not getting married officially, because I heard a lot of girls are, sorry, but fucking up the guys, meaning by getting the alimony, going to calling the police on them and all that bullshit. So because of that, the guys prefer not just to get married and that's it. This is what I heard.
Yeah, are you guys are you both in Toronto?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're actually like 40, 50 minutes away from each other.
Yeah, I love Toronto, man. That's like I used to call it my, not my second, but I used to spend a lot of time in Vaughan.
That's where I am.
Oh yeah, a lot of Baharians live in Vaughan. Well, they're from Israel mostly.
My teacher's a Bukharian guy, by the way, Ephraim Palvanov.
Yeah, it's a very common name. So yeah, Vaughan. Also,
His
I have a
YouTube
friend.
channel, by the way, is really good at Jewish learning.
I have a friend. He lived in Cabbagetown. Wasn't crazy about that area, but I love Toronto, man. It's like a cleaner version of New York. Cleaner, nicer people.
This is what
And
people
my
say about New York. I want to go there. I've never been there, but people are like, it's a dirty place. Like, it's a dirty.
It's dirty. No, it's very dirty, but it's a cool city.
Yeah, like Brighton Beach is Little Odessa.
Exactly. Yeah.
I'm
It's like perestroika when time stopped in Russia. This is where it stopped in the 90s, right?
Yeah. But I heard
What
Brighton,
yeah, no, you said she lives in Canada.
What was
but
that?
Brighton Beach isn't really like Odessita anymore. It's more like Kafkazis and Georgians and a lot of these
It's
other
everything. It was Uzbeki. It's like literally everything.
Yeah, it's not like Odessans anymore.
No, actually, it's not true. A lot of Ukrainians after the war actually started piling in.
Oh, they piled in?
Yeah, after the war,
Yeah.
all you see is Ukrainians now because a lot of them came. Because where are they going to come to? They're going to go to a Russian-speaking community, or Ukrainian-speaking community. So there's tons of them.
Absolutely. Here in Canada, we have them a lot. Like, I moved right now to North, and I'm shocked how many Ukrainians are here. And also, I went to visit my mom a couple of weeks ago, and in her grocery store, like, it's very Jewish area, but it's not